Sandip Agarwal, fund manager and co-founder of Sowilo Investment Manager, joins us this morning. Sandip, great to speak with you as always, and thank you for coming in. First, let's get the cliff notes, the quick take on Wipro and then TechM.
So, both Wipro and TechM has reported in line to slightly better on the future numbers. But the only thing is that, if you take each of this company, for example, in case of Wipro, the estimates were very muted, and on very muted estimates, they have done a good job on the margin front. And also, Wipro seasonality is completely different than Infosys and TCS, where Wipro generally has second half, which is stronger than the first half, unlike Infy and TCS, where first half is stronger. So, for them, the next quarter should have been, again, something is wanting there. So I would say that, if you see last 20 years of history of Wipro, always Wipro has done good job on the margin side. They have been, whether it was time of Korean, whether it is now, the only challenge is that growth has always been challenging. So I think that the most important thing for Wipro would be to get growth back, and all the discussion and all the analyst concerns or all the analyst expectation will be around that. Now, because this is a cash rich sector where buyback support is there, where dividend support is there, this generally gets some premium multiple to other sectors compared to the growth which is there. So obviously, Wipro has times when it doesn't do well at all for 1 year, 1.5 years, and then suddenly 3 to 6 months it does phenomenally well on the stock side. But I would be very happy if the company does very well on the revenue side. So that is what my view is on Wipro. On TechM, I think it is the only company which has been able to deliver numbers better in the sense that, if you chip aside the exposure to telecom, and telecom, we all know last 5-7 years have been struggling on the capex front, and despite that, this company has actually done reasonably well, I would say. So in my view, TechM, if some support comes from the telecom vertical, it will be one of the best performing companies in terms of revenue growth and profitability. But unfortunately, there is no clarity when telecom vertical will revive. And because of that, all the good work which they do outside of telecom, that actually gets nullified by the weak performance of telecom. And that has been the story for quite some time now. But I think now with the new CEO coming in and the strategy being in place to diversify beyond telecom, which they have been consistently doing for last few years, I think once telecom exposure comes below 12, 13, 15% like it is for TCS, Infosys, then this company will get rewarded for its performance. Until that, telecom will keep on dragging it down.
Then a quick view. You've given us, in fact, you've sounded more positive on TechM seemingly than on Wipro this morning. So I want to know, out of the major results that you've seen, you saw Infosys take quite the battering on Friday, over 5% down, disappointment on the numbers. You've seen all the major numbers. Which stands out as the front runner in your opinion, and when do you see the real bullish trend for IT starting?
So I think the bullish time, I was very bullish a year back around October, November, because that was the time when salaries were getting postponed, bonuses were getting postponed. I think that was the peak of pessimism, and stock price earning multiples were at almost like 5-year, 7-year low. And I think that was the time where there was maximum fear, maximum risk, and bets should have been taken at that time. And we have come multiple times on different channels, and I have told that, this looks like the bottom of the industry. But now if you see in last 1 year, the stocks have moved up substantially, and everyone is building in every positive which can happen in the sector, without considering that if new president assumes office, while there will be growth, good demand, and because of the corporate tax cut and all those things, but at the same time, the cost of doing business can also go up substantially. Now that risk of cost of doing business going up is not built in the sector today, while the optimism is all built in. So I am little skeptical at this price for any of the stocks, except that, in TechM, the only positive is that it's telecom vertical. Someday when it revives, then, you will see a big jump in growth. Till then, I don't see much growth there also. But we like structurally the ER&D space a lot, because if you see any global report of Gartner and Ascom, anyone, they are also putting that ER&D outsourcing penetration is very low. So it should grow ideally 2.5 times of IT services. The problem there is that, every stock is ultra expensive there. So you have to time it. So whenever you get a good opportunity to buy those stocks in the ER&D space at a reasonable price multiple peg ratio of around 2, that is the time to accumulate them for a for long term.
Fantastic. Sandeep, thanks so much for joining us this morning and for giving us your view on the latest earnings.